you'd say, I'm sorry, I can't come out, rape an ape.
1994, the San Fernando earthquakes, the Russia-China Cold War ends, Kurt Cobain shoots himself in the head, Mandela's inaugurated as the first black president of South Africa, the O.J. Simpson affair, and Commodore goes broke. The end of gaming legend, but not the end of gaming. Yes, indeed, Donkey Kong Country, or Super Donkey Kong in Japan, graced its presence to us on Nintendo's 16-bit wonder, thanks to those nice gone Bill Gates bardside guys over at Rare. Can you believe that Shigeru Miyamoto slammed this game? He said that people would put up with mediocre gameplay just for looks. Of course, he later apologised about that, and you could sympathise, he did have his baby taken away, of course, being the father of Donkey Kong. So you had your one player, your two player contest, which was like a time attack time trial, and two player team that with some tweaking, you could get working simultaneously. And the story was simple. Donkey Kong gets up one day, finds that his secret banana stash has been looted by King K. Rool. Fortunately for DK though, Rool was careless and left a trail of bananas all over Kongland. So DK starts his quest following the trail of bananas and along the way dispatching K. Rool's guards, cronies and lackeys. And Donkey Kong the game in itself borrowed a lot from the staples of platform gaming, you know, your usual collect items, jump on enemies, side-scrolling, all good fun, but the element came into this where you had tag team gameplay. Diddy Kong helps you out along the way, and you both have different attributes. Kong's a lot stronger, Diddy Kong's a lot faster. And of course there's nothing more fun than riding a big old rhinoceros. Well, Donkey Kong Country was a pioneer of some graphical techniques known as advanced computer modeling. Rare invested a lot of money and took a lot of risk in making this game, as it was a completely new technique that they had to pioneer. But it paid off. This game looks fantastic and was the answer at the time to a lot of hardware that was coming out, in particular the answer to the Mega Drive's 32X system, which was of course 32-bit, but also a complete failure. And it's because of games like Donkey Kong Country that it proved that advances in hardware weren't always necessary to make the most of existing hardware. If you've got a SNES, dig this one out, get on eBay, buy it. If not, and you're getting a Wii, look forward to it on a virtual console near you. What DK came down to though was some good old-fashioned fun, finding secrets, spelling out Kong, getting your completion rate up, and watching yourself fail. Silly Kong. Treasure, you are a gaming god. So people might say, what's treasure? 2 words. Radiant Silvergun. This is argued to be the best vertical scrolling shoot 'em up ever. And because of this, Treasure is known for making and bringing out some intense action games. There is so much creativity work put into the gameplay, the design and aesthetic control. Overall, anything Treasure touches turns to gold. And with a team like Treasure, you can understand why things turn to gold. It started up in 1992 off the back of several key Konami employees who decided to leave to start up their own organisation, which of course later became known as Treasure. This is a company that's deeply rooted in Sega's history. A lot of titles that Treasure have been responsible for have been Mega Drive, Game Gear, even Saturn and arcade port formats on various Sega hardware. But however, as time has progressed, they have branched out. They do PlayStation titles and also do titles for Nintendo's portable DS, and also had a couple of GameCube ports as well. Also on the GameCube, Treasure were responsible for the development of Wario World, which was a completely different game than Treasure would do. Anyways, back to Radiant Silvergun. It's what people want to hear about. Well, Radiant Silvergun's described as the maximalist shooter, as you can see from the footage. Basically, intense action, continual onslaught of enemies, continual onslaught of projectiles, and every weapon under the sun was under your command. The Saturn version of Radiant Silvergun is extremely well cherished and overvalued. It goes upwards to £100 or $200 on eBay, and it's a game that's quite ample in supply. It's quite easy to get a hold of. There are actually many sealed copies of it floating around. It's just such a popular game though that the prices for eBayers have jacked it up through the roof. Then we move on to 2001, 2002, and Treasure commit what many people believe to be a taboo for Treasure, which is make a sequel. Radiant Silvergun Project 2 later dubbed I, Kruger, which was published for arcades in 2001 and made its way to Dreamcast in 2002. It was considered to be the opposite side of the pole to Radiant Silvergun. It was a lot more minimalist in the fact that you only really had one weapon, but your ship was capable of doing something quite interesting in a shoot-'em-up game. The enemies you faced would fire light or dark projectiles, but your ship was able to adapt. If you adapted to the right timed energy at the right time, you could absorb all the shots. Because not including Radiant Silvergun and I, Kruger, Treasure are famed for something else. Bosses. Treasure love bosses. And what do they love to do with bosses? Make them go on forever and ever. Multi-stage bosses. Some people would argue that this is a bad thing, but when you're actually fighting a multi-stage boss, it's a great feeling. It's almost as if you're in a duel with this boss. You're both fighting for your life. When you pull something out of your hat and destroy a bit of that boss pulls out something completely show-stopping. Graphics for Treasure games have always been something else, and the thing they take the most care and attention to with their graphics are on bosses. Everything about them is an amazing experience to play and fight. You actually do feel like you have some competition when you fight a multi-stage boss. You do feel like it's going to pull something good known out of its hat. And it's that uncertainty that makes a Treasure gaming experience one in its own. And because of this, Treasure games are extremely well identified with perfectionists who like to learn bullet chains, learn how to evade bullets, get through a Treasure game without losing a single life, learn how to destroy everything in your path. It's that need to be perfect, that want to do a game as it's intended without it continue, without dying. And it's that thirst for perfection that makes Treasure games so great. The replayability is unbelievable if you're a perfectionist. You will never get tired of these games. You will always strive for perfection. You will always want to do something better. Always be the best. And because of that, they are gaming gods.
何が起きるかわからない。殲滅